Paige Schnorbach, how's that Highland Park sideline?
Unbelievable is truly the only word. And earlier, Chandler Morris's running touchdown got that fist pump from Coach Allen. This time, no such fist pump because Coach Allen knows there is still plenty of work to do. The game is only tied, and this man is the definition of focus. Thanks, Miles. You know, we've seen all season Highland Park isn't used to being behind, but up until this touchdown, they were down 7-0. Coach Melton was telling his defense, all right, they scored on us. Now the question is, what are you going to do about it? We've been here before. Stick to the plan. Guys, Highland Park knows their offense is up against a tough challenge here with John Tyler's defense. Coach Weber telling the receivers, be patient, wait for your moment, and then get the ball.
You know, the sideline is rocking over here right now. Highland Park is feeling it, but we know what kind of comebacks can happen in this crazy world of high school football. Coach Melton telling his defense, make them drive. They don't want to throw. Make them drive and make them make mistakes. This is an important drive for Shadow Creek and Highland Park. They want to maintain the momentum that Highland Park has going into it. They don't want to let Shadow Creek score right here. Also telling his players, don't get chippy, don't get cocky. This is our game. Let the scoreboard do the talking.
Thanks, Miles. Obviously, we know that the benefits of these kind of games that become lopsided 56-14 is that some of the players that don't usually get to play get to see the field. It's fun. It gets the new guys more experience. In fact, the wide receiver coach just came up to Coach Allen and said, hey, I've got 4 receivers that didn't get in last week against Brian Adams. Can I get them a chance to get in this week?
And Paige Schnorbach is with Randy Allen.
Thanks, Miles. Coach, one of the more unusual moments in this game, which I'm sure is more unusual from what you've seen here, is the lights going out. Yeah. Normally that could throw a rhythm off, but your team had been suffering from a lot of cramping. Was that a good chance for them to kind of get water and revive themselves?
Well, that's what happens when you don't pay your light bills. You know, you got to pay your light bills on time. But, yeah, I was proud of the way our guys came back and focused, and there were a lot of momentum changes in the game that could have taken our guys' focus off of it, but they are so tough and they want to win so badly. I thought those 2 scores right after halftime, those were haymaker blows to us, and our guys came back and took the lead. So, you know, we've got a team that we should get better each week, but I'm so proud of the way they played tonight. We beat a really good Rockwall team.
Now, we knew coming into the season that the loss of John Stephen Jones was going to leave a hole in your offense. Tonight, we got to see if Chandler Morris was going to be able to fill those shoes. What do you think of your quarterback's performance tonight?
Chandler had a great night, and he made some runs that really helped us, and then he made some very timely passes in critical situations. So, for a first game starting as a varsity quarterback, he had a tremendous game.
And, Coach, you tried to retire this summer, but it didn't quite take. What keeps bringing you back to this program for 20 years now?
Well, players that play as hard as these guys do, and I really enjoy the coaches that I coach with, and there's just a special spirit at Highland Park of just knowing how to get it done, you know, finding a way to win. And, man, it's fun to coach these guys because they really leave it out there on the field.
All right, thanks so much, Coach, and congratulations on the win. Miles, Eric, another win at Highlander Stadium. Their win streak is intact here, and what a great game. They got the revenge on Rockwall from last year, and it was wonderful to watch their new quarterback, Chandler Morris. Back to y'all.
Thank you.
Coach, not only did your defense hold this team to only 14 points, by my last count, you had at least 5 different players score touchdowns. What does that say about the completeness of your team?
Well, the way they were playing their defense, we had to throw the ball, so a lot of those touchdowns were, I guess all of them were passes, and Chandler did a good job of spreading it out, and thank goodness we've got multiple receivers that can make big plays.
At the conclusion of this game, you're officially halfway through the season. You have a bye coming up this week. What are you going to focus on the most with your team?
Well, we try to come up with 3 things with each position coach that we need to improve upon. Then we work out next week 3 days, and we try to emphasize those 3 things each day, each one of those things for 3 days, so that we are a better football team the next week. And we got Legacy on the other end of that open date, so we have a lot of reason to get prepared.
Guys, it's unbelievable. The only word to describe it is crazy. I have never seen this sideline so excited. It is definitely giving me Manville flashbacks, and you should not count this team out of this game. Miles, thank you. We're here again less than a month after Highland Park played Mansfield Timberview the first time. You already mentioned that ended with a Highland Park win 42-7. Tonight we'll be looking to see, is Timberview out for revenge? Have they learned from their mistakes? Will they have their quarterback? These questions that will soon be answered, and we'll see if Highland Park can pull it out here in the 3rd round of the playoffs. Back to y'all. Coach, they say it's hard to beat a team twice in one season. You had that task ahead of you today. How did that affect your preparation this week?
Well, the thing you worry about is being overconfident and think it's going to be easy. So we drilled it into our guys' head that it wasn't going to be easy and they had to be ready to play. And it really wasn't about them. It was about us getting ready and playing at our level. And I tell you, coming into the game, I had a high respect for their offense and their defense. They beat Magnolia West soundly, and they defeated Colony. So we were really concerned about them. And I think our kids played one of their best games. We got a lot of turnovers early in the game, got a short field, got up on them early, and that made a big difference.
There was a lot of chippiness there in the second half. It resulted in ejections on both sides. What do you do to talk to your team about that and keep that behavior under control?
Well, you want to, you want them to battle. You want them to hold their ground. You don't want to be intimidated, but you don't want to. Usually the second guy gets caught, so we tell them don't retaliate and don't do something silly to get thrown out of the game. And it doesn't do any good. You got helmets on. You're not going to hurt each other. So just keep your poise and don't retaliate.
Thanks, guys. Coach, tonight your defense and Prince Dorba with 3 sacks in particular had a great game. Can you talk about him a little bit?
Who was it?
Dorba.
Oh, yeah. Well, Prince had great sacks on the quarterback, great pressures, and he's a guy that you almost have to double team. And I was really proud of his pass rush and the big plays he made on defense. I thought our defense played great after we gave up 14 points early in the game. They settled down.
You've had a lot of injuries this season. Tonight we saw Cal Hershey get injured. How have you had your team deal with that, and how will you continue to deal with it going forward?
Well, it's next man up, and we've had 6 injuries. In 2016, we had 6 starters go out on us, and so the next guy that came up did a great job. And you don't even think about it. If a guy gets hurt, there's another guy waiting to get in, and they always play better than you expect them to. And they just rise to the occasion. And tonight we were without a couple of linebackers, and they stepped in. The guys that came in did a great job.
Miles, Eric, I hope y'all are enjoying yourselves up there as you get to sit in the nice, dry, and warm press box, because those of us down here stuck in this downpour are, as y'all have been saying, literally standing in puddles of water. I'm here on the Mansfield sideline. My feet are almost completely underwater. I can't imagine how these boys are going to play in this, slipping and sliding. But Eric, you said it earlier, as a high school student, this is the kind of game you live for and the kind of game that makes the best memories. Guys, thanks. I know y'all touched on this already. It is misting out here, but as you said, it is nothing compared to the conditions of last week. We're on the back half of the season, and I finally broke down and now wearing rain boots, learned my lesson. Y'all also just touched on some injuries we'll be looking out for tonight. Unfortunately, James Lightbourne is out. He tore his ACL again this season. I know y'all will have a better understanding of the impact that will have on the Scots team, but right now we're just going to watch another great football game on this Friday night. Back to y'all. Thanks, Miles. We are here for another great game of Scott football. In fact, after this game, we will officially be halfway through the season. Tonight, they're playing Woodrow Wilson, who's coming in with a lot of confidence as they're 3-1. Highland Park is 4-0, as we know. But this team is ready to play the Scots. They've had their eye on it. This is the defending champs. They want to take them down. In fact, over on their sideline, there's a giant sign they've hung up that says, HP, you ain't ready. And we'll see if they are. Back to y'all. Guys, what we were most excited to see tonight was Chandler Morris come out for his first game as a starter, and he is already not disappointed. I know y'all can see him from where you are, but let me tell you, from this ground perspective, he has been amazing. His run down that field for the touchdown was fast. He was calm and collected when he came off. He just sat down, had a sip of water, and started strolling around. You can tell this kid knows what he's doing.
All right, Coach Allen, this is the 3rd year in a row you faced Denton Ryan in the playoffs. What was the key to your success this year against them?
Well, it was a team effort, but it was a balance on offense between the run and the pass. And, we scored the first 21 points in the first half, and they came out with 14, I think. Isn't that right? I can't even remember. And then we scored the first possession that we had the ball in the second half, and seemed to take some control of the game and wear them out. They had a lot of two-way starters, and so we were trying to keep the ball on offense so that we could maintain possession of the football.
Coach, next week it could be 3 years in a row. How do you keep your boys from being too overwhelmed by that kind of pressure?
Great.
So we're struggling with our audio down there right now with Randy.